Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 79 of Sooner Girl Sports Pod. And I can't wait for you to hear my interview with lacrosse player Gracie Johnson. But before we get there and to the Sooner headlines of the week, let's start off by thanking our sponsors, Marvin's Place, a fine art gallery and listening room located in the Depot District in Ardmore, Oklahoma. Come experience amazing artwork. And on Friday nights, visit the Listening Room, an intimate and unplugged venue. We host singer and songwriters on Friday evenings from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Relax with a glass of wine or craft beer and enjoy some wonderful music. You can find out more, including links to their social media, their music calendar, and all artwork and jewelry available at the gallery on their website at marvinsplace.gallery. Also, thank you to Therapy to Go in Ardmore, the funnest place in town to drive through for a drink, and you don't even have to get out of your car. They have a large variety of spirits as well as fountain drinks and snacks available as well. You can pull right in and pick up your call ahead order and they will put it straight into your vehicle for you. You can find them on Facebook and Instagram at Therapy to Go Ardmore, and be sure and tell them that Larissa from Sooner Girl Sports Pod sent you for a free koozie. Okay, real quick, I want to tell you about somewhere that I went this past week. I got to visit my new friend, Dr. Kelsey Ybarra, at her optometry clinic in Norman called Victory Vision. And Kelsey is going to be doing some segments with me on the podcast here soon to talk about some of the things that she offers. In her clinic, she offers regular optometry care, but she also offers performance eye care to help athletes see like a champion today with sports vision evals and trainings. So I got to participate in some of the hands-on assessments at her clinic on last week when I was in town. And it was just really cool to see what she has to offer to athletes, starting in little league players all the way up to even professional players. So if you know someone who needs those services, or you're a coach or an athlete, you can check out more information on her website at victoryvisionnorman.com. You can also find her on my social media. I tagged her in a post after I visited the clinic, so you can find out more information there as well. But I will be having her on the podcast here in the next coming weeks to highlight some of the things that she offers and how they can help athletes. I thought it was really cool, and I would love for you guys to hear it. So be looking forward to that. Okay, on to the Sooner headlines of the week. On the day that this episode drops, it is only 51 days until kickoff. So we are on the countdown, nearly 100 days away. So I am super pumped about it, ready to go. It will be here before we know it. Remember, kickoff, the first game has been moved to Friday, September the 4th, 7 p.m. So we'll have a full Labor Day weekend ahead of us after the game. A great day for tailgating and all the things before that fun night game to kick off the season at Gaylord. And I cannot wait, so I hope to see you there. Quick shout out to our Sooners on the world stage. Men's gymnast Ignacio Yockers finished 5th in the all-around and earned multiple event medals to help Club Gymnastics San Blas claim 3rd place at the Spanish Artistic Gymnastics Championships this past weekend. He finished 2nd on the pommel, 2nd on the high bars, 3rd on the parallel bars, and 5th in all around. Also on to baseball. OU is hiring Tyler Johnson, the son of Skip Johnson, our head coach, as an assistant coaching role to replace Todd Butler, who left us to go to Florida. Johnson spends time at the head coach position at McLennan, Texas Community College before being the recruiting coordinator at Dallas Baptist this past season. The Sooners will hire more roles still to come, so stay tuned for that. Also, it was just announced that Deshaun Harris, Gavin Jones, Jason Bowden, and Jason Walker all returning next season, which is huge, massive news for our roster. That is, of course, in addition to our 3 College World Series starters on the mound that I talked about last week: Xander Mercurius, Cord Rager, and Nick Weslowski. Also, a few updates on the Major League Baseball draft that took place this last weekend. 57 straight years with a draft pick from the Sooners. 0 Oklahoma Sooners were drafted in the first round, unfortunately, of this year's draft. That's the first time since 2008 that a player from the national championship team was not selected in the first round. The last time that did not happen was 2008 with Fresno State. So interesting stat there. But our first Sooner off the board does not need to be overlooked regardless. Brendan Bruck, my guy that I hosted on the podcast earlier in the spring, he was taken round 3, pick 99 to the Yankees. So super exciting for him. We also had 8 total Sooners off the board to go in the draft. On day 2, we had round 5, pick 141. Jackson Willits went to the Angels. Round 5, pick 148, LJ Mercurius to the Diamondbacks. Round 6, pick 184, Big Maple. Dayton LaChance went to the Cleveland Guardians. Also, round 9, pick 269, Camden Johnson to the Royals. Round 14, pick 413, Mason Bixby to the Tampa Bay Rays. Round 15, pick 435, Camden Johnson to Chicago. And round 18, pick 533, Nate Smith also to join Mason Bixby in Tampa Bay. Again, our outfielders, Jason Walk and Deshaun Harris, both go unselected in the draft, but that is good news. Like I said, they did announce their intentions to come back to Norman next fall, so that is definitely nothing to be sad about. Also, just a quick reminder, I am doing an Oklahoma episode the first week in August to recap and highlight all of the national championship run. I have 5 baseball players that I have already interviewed for that episode. Jackson Cleveland and his mom, Kristen, Dayton Talkie and his mom, Christy, Jason Bowden, Dayton LaChance, and Trey Gamble I have all already interviewed, and we'll be getting that episode ready. I do have a couple more guys that I might be connecting with, so hopefully I can add those on deck. But the first week of August, that episode will be dropping. It will only be my conversations with these guys. You won't hear from me that week, so you can just focus and relish in the national championship run and relive it with these guys as they talk through their experience. And it has been so amazing. What an opportunity just to be able to talk to these guys and relive those memories with them. And I cannot wait for you guys to hear that one again. That episode is dropping on August the 5th. On to softball. USA Softball International Cup will be at Devon Park July 31st through August the 3rd. So if you're in the area, you might check that out. You'll want to get out and support Coach Gasso, Tiara Jennings, Alyssa Brito, Jada Coleman, Gabby Garcia, Kelly Maxwell, Kalani Ricketts, and Kendall Wells. Also on to the AUSL, our professional softball league. I attended one of the last Spark home games for this season. Unfortunately, they just wrapped up their home slate this past weekend. I was there last Thursday night, got to see an incredible walk-off win over Jada Coleman's Talons. And it was just an incredible game. I ran into my girl, Amber Flores, the head coach. Amber, a former Sooner, now the head coach also at Seminole State College. And of course, the OKC Spark. Had her on the podcast last spring, so go back and check that one out. And my girl, Tina Floyd, who is the CEO, owner of the OKC Spark, also had her on the podcast last spring as well. If you want to go back and give that one a listen. But just such a great time, always getting out and supporting our softball girls in the state of Oklahoma. So if you didn't make it out this summer, I hope that you follow them on social media so you don't miss their schedule release next spring so you can get out and support them next summer. However, if you still would like to tune in to some of their games and their postseason in the coming weeks, you can check out their social media and watch for all of their game day drops and information on how you can listen to and watch their games on the road for the remainder of the season. Also, want to give a quick shout out to Jada Coleman. Her first career pro Grand Slam erased a 4-2 deficit and gave the Talons the lead as they clawed Black to beat the Volts last week on Wednesday night, 8-4. So pretty awesome for our girl Jada. Also, that walk-off win that I watched the Spark last Thursday night, our girl Sid Romero tied the game up. And then Sydney Sherrill, who is Oklahoma native, former Florida State Seminole, she walked it off in the bottom of the 7th, and it was such a fun game. So just a shout out to those girls. Professional softball is so much fun to watch, you guys. You can still watch your favorite players after they graduate college. So be sure and you tune in and support the AUSL. Also, shout out to our volleyball player, Avea Mega, who was named the U21 Pan America Cup Award Best Setter from Team Canada this past weekend. Also, congrats to our incoming Sooner tennis player, Ekaterina Makalova, on winning the W15 Estonia title in Kazakhstan this past weekend as well. We also have several Sooners, men's and women, on tour around the world in the coming week. So you will want to check out the OU women's and men's tennis social media to give that a follow and get more information on that. So you can follow our girls, Chloe Noel, Laura Brunkle, and many other current and former Sooners as they are playing around the world this in the coming weeks. Also, shout out to my guy, my friend, Coach James Thomas, and the rest of the track and field coaching and student crew for being a top 16, 3 seasons, 1 elite program, cross country, indoor track and field, and outdoor track and field. That's only one of 3 men's programs to finish in the top 16 in all 3 of the NCAA season. So pretty awesome there. And shout out again to my friend, Coach James Thomas, and what he's done with our track and field and cross country program. Also, shout out to our girl, Gracie Mayo, who had a top 10 finish in the golf amateur at the Women's English Open this past weekend. And also don't forget to go give a follow on all social media to all of our club sports. We have men's hockey, our men's and women's lacrosse, our women's flag football team. We have rugby, women's wrestling. Go and give all of those a follow on their social media. So their schedules will be coming up soon and you'll want to get out and support them as well, as you will hear from our lacrosse player, Gracie Johnson, here in just a few moments. So be sure you go on social media and give all of our club sports a follow. I do my very best to share updated information on those club sports on my social media at Sooner Girl Pod. You're more than likely going to find that information on Twitter/X and on my Instagram and Facebook stories. Okay, on to this week's MVPs of the week. Sid Romero for tying that game for the Spark to set up the walk-off win over the top team in the league this past week. So shout out to our girl Sydney. Also shout out to our former Sooner Riley Boone for making the Sports Center top 10 catch in the AUSL game this past weekend as well. And shout out to our men's gymnast Ignacio Yockers for finishing 5th in the all-around and placing in his event titles. And also to our golfer Gracie Mario for her top 10 finish in the Women's English Open. And also to our women's tennis player, Ekaterina, on winning in Kazakhstan this past weekend. And also just another shout out to all of our 8 Sooners who were drafted in the Major League Baseball draft this past weekend. Brendan Brock, Jackson Willits, LJ Mercurius, Dayton LaChance, Camden Johnson, Mason Bixby, and Cameron Johnson. Okay, to end this segment with a Sooner fun fact of the week. In 2026, the Sooners women's gymnastics team captured its 2nd straight national title. It marked the 3rd time in program history that OU had won back-to-back NCAA championships. It happened previously in 2016 and 17 and also in 2022-23. So our women's gymnastics team is just incredible. I'm recording this on Monday, July the 13th, and today was the day of the OU takeover on the SEC network, and they have been replaying men's basketball at Texas, women's basketball against South Carolina, the women's gymnastics meet against LSU. They're going to replay the women's national title win later this evening, as well as the baseball title win later this evening as well. They've also highlighted a couple football games today as well. And I've just had that on in the background today as I've been going around doing things. And I can't wait to relive some of the rest of those national championship moments on the air tonight. But again, make sure you're following all of our athletic programs so that when their schedules drop, I, of course, will remind you here on the show, but you want to get those dates on your calendar so you can get out and support all of our athletes and get in early so that they don't sell out. Okay, just a reminder, next up on the show next week is golfer Audrey Risher. Also coming up at the end of July, I'm going to have SEC Media Day recap with the guys from Sooner Scoop. And reminder that the first week in August is the Oklahoma episode with all of those baseball guys, a couple of moms thrown in as well. I also want to give a shout out to Dayton Talkie's mom, Christy, and Jackson Cleveland's mom, Kristen. I am doing our monthly online huddle with my girls in my locker room group, and we are having several of the baseball moms join us at this month's meeting, and that's going to be on Monday, July the 27th. So, ladies, if you are not a member of the locker room, it is not too late to join in so that you can be a part of that monthly huddle and get to talk to Dayton Talkie's mom, Jackson Cleveland's mom, and a couple of other baseball moms who will be joining us. You can find out more information on that on my Substack, SoonerGirlSportsPod.substack.com. Join the locker room for only $5 a month. You can then be a part of our text group, my giveaways. I do special behind the scenes things such as this online huddle, and we do meet monthly with our online huddle anyway. Sometimes we have a special guest, and you also get a discount on your merch when you join the locker room as well. So ladies only, if you're interested in that, go check that out on Substack. If you have any questions, just shoot me a message. I'd be happy to help. But in the meantime, ladies and guys, go get your Sooner Girl Sports Pod merch at SoonerGirl.BigGartel.com. And I have t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, tanks, hats, visors, stickers, koozies, all the things. Again, make sure you're following me on all social media at Sooner Girl Pod so you don't miss anything. And while you're over on Substack, you can sign up for free. Just put your email address in there to get my monthly newsletter called The Playbook that comes out at the end of the month. You won't want to miss anything Sooner Girl Sports Pod coming up. Also, if you're interested in advertising or sponsoring the podcast, you can email me at soonergirlsportspod@gmail.com or shoot me a message on social media. Again, make sure you're following me at Sooner Girl Pod. And all of these things can be found in my link in bio on any social media platform. It's my link tree. Everything I just talked about, you can find there. Especially ladies, you're not going to want to miss the locker room. I have some other fun, exciting things coming up as well. In the past, we had Travis Davison join us as well after OU Texas last year so we could commiserate together. So that was a lot of fun. And I have a couple other things cooking on the back burner there coming up. So, ladies, you won't want to miss that. So, cannot thank you all so much for all of your support. It means more than you know. And now I want you to stay tuned to hear from our lacrosse player, Gracie Johnson. She was born and raised in South Florida and then moved to South Carolina where she graduated. She's played lacrosse throughout high school and also competed with the Anderson University travel team and played in various tournaments as a walk-on. She decided to continue playing lacrosse at OU and is finished her freshman season just this past May. She is an architecture student and a member of AIAS, focused on green and sustainable design. Gracie became a Sooner fan because she was a big college football fan and she fell in love with the campus when she decided to attend here. And we are so glad she is a Sooner. She's just the sweetest thing. And I enjoyed talking to her so much. I'm loving learning about lacrosse and the club sports and all the things. And I know that you will too. You also want to stay tuned to hear about her favorite Sooner memory of hanging out at College Gameday this past fall against Michigan. Make sure you give Gracie a follow on Instagram. You can find her at Gracie Johnson. And also follow the women's lacrosse team on Instagram while you're there at OU_W lacrosse. And I will link all of this in the show notes and, of course, be tagging on social media throughout the week. So make sure you go and give them a follow and your support. I have a great slate coming up even beyond August. And all that I've told you, I will fill you in a little bit more on that next week so you won't want to miss out. But I will see you next Wednesday where we talk sports. I'm excited to talk to you. So thank you again for giving me part of your time.
Yes.
You've been playing lacrosse for quite some time.
It's been my most favorite sport I've ever played, and
That's
throughout
awesome.
childhood, like, I played, soccer. I feel like every parent likes to put their kid in sports just to keep
Uh-huh.
them active and going outside of school, and I really enjoyed martial arts for a long amount of time, but
Mhm.
I really wanted to get back to a team sport, and lacrosse has
Yeah.
just been so fun.
That's awesome. Well, I am very new to learning about lacrosse. Obviously, it's not super popular in Oklahoma, but I
Yeah.
feel like it's one of those sports like soccer even that's growing and gaining more attention. I actually came to y'all's last home game that Saturday before the spring football game, but I had to leave before it was over, so I didn't get to talk to anybody. But that was my first lacrosse experience. But it's a really fun sport, and so I'm excited to continue to learn about it and get out and support you guys again next season for sure. I was a little late to the party this year, so I didn't make it out any earlier.
Totally fun.
But you guys just play in the spring, correct?
Yeah, so we
Okay.
practice throughout the whole year, though, but we do
Hmm.
only have games throughout the spring. And this year
Okay.
we had the most we've had in the last 2 years.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, usually we'll only have like 7 games, but
Hmm.
we were able to get in 10 this
Oh,
season,
that's really
so
good. Well, that
yeah.
makes it more worth your while for sure.
Especially with all of the practice time, it's like, "Okay, we're finally ready."
For sure. Well, let's talk a little bit back up, I guess, and start from the beginning a little bit and talk about you playing lacrosse through the years and then how on earth did you actually end up in Oklahoma from the East Coast?
Yeah. So, originally, I grew up in South Florida, and I lived there up until, like, 2020, and then I moved to South Carolina, due to my parents' jobs, and
Uh-huh.
so I was in March of 2020, and I moved there with, like, 4 weeks of school, and then COVID hit.
Oh my
So, I
word.
really needed to figure out something to spend my time, and previously, I was in martial arts, and
Uh-huh.
that was all kaput due to
Yeah.
COVID, and so my mom had made a lot of new friends, at her job, and one of her new friends was a lacrosse coach, and so her
Oh.
name was Coach Eliza, and from there, we would just do, like, one-on-one lessons, and
Mhm.
then she actually had her own, like, league, and then she would put us into different colleges, like clinics, and
Uh-huh.
so I started, yeah, in, like, 6th to 7th grade, and
That's
then from
awesome.
there, I just played rec league because at that point, you couldn't even be on JV. You couldn't
Okay.
play,
Mhm.
so and then 8th grade, I started playing at JV at my high school, which was Hillcrest High School in South Carolina, and then I was JV my 8th grade and then freshman year, and then from sophomore year on, I was varsity, and then senior year and junior year, I was our captain, and yeah, now I'm over here. But the big switch for me was I'm really focused towards like academics. Like I love
Uh-huh.
sports, but I do have to worry about where I will be money wise in the future. Like I
Absolutely.
always want to grow the sport and I love it, but there's only so far I can go. So I'm very
For sure.
excited to be able to have this opportunity because I didn't even
Huh?
think about lacrosse, to be
Yeah.
honest. So it was a really great addition. So I'm an architecture student
Mhm.
and so that was my focus. I went to trade school for 2 years during high school because in
Wow.
South Carolina, they're really, like, ready to work focused, so
Uh-huh.
I had all of my certifications, and then from there, I was kind of just trying to decide what program I wanted to go to, so I kinda just applied to, like, 5 schools and just wanted to see what all my options were. So it ended up being really close between here in Miami, Ohio. But I just
Okay.
visited campus here for the first time and I'd actually never been out west. So I visited and I just loved it. And as soon as I finished my first visit, I put my enrollment down.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so you've been in Oklahoma for a little bit, but so have you experienced a tornado?
I mean, personally, I haven't seen one, but my roommate, she's part of AFROTC, so
Oh,
she's going to be in the
okay.
Air Force, and they actually do a lot of storm chasing. So she sends me
Okay.
videos because her and her friends will get in some beat up vehicle and just drive.
That's crazy to me. I mean, I grew up in Oklahoma and I always like to ask people that question when they're not from this area because I heard a baseball player who said when he hears the word tornado, he just immediately goes to the cellar. Like he's out. He doesn't want anything to do with it. And
Yeah,
honestly, that's me, even though I was born and raised here. I love storm chasers, like watching their videos and pictures and everything, but I don't want any part of it. So
yeah.
so kudos to those people that do it though, because we need them. But yeah, I don't want any part of it. So yeah, I always like to ask people that question because it's definitely an experience. If you've seen one or if there's one close and you actually have to take shelter, it's something you'll never forget for sure.
Yeah, I felt a little better knowing. I mean, it is very crazy that Moore had that tornado,
Oh my
obviously,
gosh. Yeah,
that
that was when
decade.
I was in college. I was at OU when that
Yeah,
happened.
yeah. It made me feel better though. OU's been here for this long.
Oh, that's so true. That's so true. Yeah, I lived in Walker Tower that
That's where I
year.
am, if you can't
Okay.
tell.
Well, it's about to get demolished.
Yeah, it's the last year, I feel kind of important.
I know. It's kind of weird to think about. So, I know that lacrosse is obviously a club sport at Oklahoma, and that's a whole lot different than your normal sanctioned sports.
Yeah.
So, let's talk a little bit about that. I obviously like to raise awareness not just for female athletes, but also for the club sports. Because I know we have several great programs and you guys put in a lot of time and effort and practice and all the things. And I love to see that people get out and support you guys. So, that being said, let's talk a little bit about the difference in your experience with playing lacrosse in the past when it was a part of like a bigger picture, so to speak. And then here you are now, you guys have to do a lot of dirty work. Like you
Yeah.
have somebody, one of your teammates that does the scheduling and arranges the travel, and you guys have to do a lot yourself. So, let's talk a little bit about that for sure.
Yeah, so I think the big difference is we really have all had to come to the realization, like, we really have to step up. Our coach, Tia, she's amazing. So next year will be her last year. So thankfully,
Oh,
you'll get to see her, but she's in med school. It's gonna be her first year in med school.
oh, wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah. But right now she is she's a pediatric flight nurse. So she's already extremely busy
Wow.
as is.
Okay.
So she obviously has an amazing, clear plan for what she wants us to do and lays that out.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I think she's a great coach because she's the only one that personally I think can do everything we're doing. Like she runs
Yeah.
ultra marathons and she's like extremely athletic. So
Oh,
it definitely
wow.
pushes us all. So first
Yeah,
factor, that's great. But coaching is obviously much different rather than actually watching over all of us. It's just
for
keeping us
sure.
accountable.
For
Yeah.
sure.
And then with executive, it's the same. We all have to hold each other accountable. You know, we have to be really consistent. Like if we're going to miss, we have to make sure we let everyone know because they are
Yeah.
planning towards you, you know, being there. And so
Yeah.
just really like making sure to be able to plan and schedule your time out and try and be there as much as you can. And
For
like the
sure.
difference of it not being that sanctioned sport is sometimes you have to make the difficult decision of what am I going to have to
Right.
prioritize at the
Yeah.
moment, but we all put in a lot of time. We usually have 3 practices a week, 2-hour each, and then
Wow.
we'll just do team bonding, I mean, almost, like, once a month, once every other month, and
Mhm.
then we just try and, like, hang out, like, on
Yeah.
our own, but other than that, I think the big difference is it is a little dirtier. We have to our lines we didn't have lines for months.
Oh my
So, like
gosh.
yeah, so we just usually have, like, the goalie lines, and then we
Mhm.
have, like, the 8-meter and then the 12-meter, and
Uh-huh.
then yeah, so we didn't play with those for a while, so we kind of
Oh,
it's
crazy.
always like, "I hope it goes good," but it usually works out,
Yeah,
and, yeah, we all put in the effort there, and we had a
for
really
sure.
great season, so
Good.
and most of our executive will be consisting of the same we'll have the same marketing. We do have a new president after our
Okay.
last election, so
Huh?
it's currently Erica Smith with Lauren, and then Lauren was the vice president,
Huh?
and then we're gonna have a new president, Grace Henson, and
Awesome.
so it'll be great. It'll be great having Tia, her last year, a new president, so we'll definitely
Yeah.
see, like, a conglomerate of things going on, and we're gonna try
Awesome.
and work with the men's team more as well because we
Oh,
did
okay.
do some games with them, which was so
Okay.
fun.
Oh, that's really cool. So, I don't know that I've ever asked any club athlete this question, but do you guys have, access to any of the amenities like other athletes? Any training areas, like at the football or like, where do y'all
I
do, like,
mean, we
workouts and
don't
stuff?
so yeah, technically, since we're not sanctioned, we really don't get access to those
Okay. I
amenities,
didn't think
but
so.
yeah, we do pay dues, which is what keeps us running for, like, all of the
Okay, yeah.
travel, for the hotels,
Yeah.
buses, gas, and all those things, and then with that, depending on how our dues are laid out, we'll try and get, like, Everest rented sometimes or,
Oh,
like, things of that sort, but
okay.
yeah, we're, like, the people putting in the effort to it, so
Oh, wow, yeah. So you guys are like you get the shaft a lot, I guess.
yeah, there's a lot of potholes in the parking lot. Yeah.
Well, okay, let's talk about your season. I know you said you guys got to play quite a bit this past season, 10 games, and so that's really good that like I said you're getting more opportunity. So, let's talk a little bit about some of the places that you guys went and where you played and maybe some of your favorite memories with that.
The way that they try and do it is since it's not really necessarily club, but all of our games are gonna be on the
Mhm.
weekends, and we're gonna try
Right,
and
yeah.
compile them, like, as continuous as we can, almost like a
Yes.
tournament style.
Yes.
So, we've had a lot of games, which will be 2 in a day, and so we've made 2 trips now. We've gone to UT twice,
Oh, okay.
and yeah, so we've played UT, TCU, we also played Rice, and then we also
Okay.
played Texas State.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so 7-hour bus ride, we did leave at 3 a.m., that was pretty
Oh,
rough.
Lord.
Yeah, it was pretty rough, but, I think it's been great, honestly. I
Mhm.
think it's really enjoyable just to be able to have all the girls together and, like, to have
Yeah.
these fun experiences, like, even though in the moment, yes, you don't wanna be in a 7-hour bus ride, but looking back, it's a
Right.
good thing to remember.
For
Yeah, but
sure.
we've played really well. I mean, in the seasons previously, I don't think our record has come up to fruition for even some of the seniors, even
Oh,
as
okay.
compared to this year. And so we've gotten a lot of numbers, like even this year, like an additional 6 girls from as
Oh,
previous. Like,
wow.
yeah,
Okay.
we're really trying to focus on like outreach because a
Yeah.
lot of people really just don't know that that's an option or get those things. So
Right.
yeah, we're gonna try and focus on that, but with all those improvements, we're really just trying to work forward and, like, continue up that hill. But we've had a great season. We are doing really, really amazing on attack, so attack, midfield, and defense.
Uh,
We have, like, about even for all 3 numbers,
uh,
and I think I just wanna shout out to one of, like, our teammates. Her name
uh-huh.
is Sterling, and it was her first year, and she hadn't played previously throughout high school, so at the beginning in the fall, she's learning to cradle and she's learning everything, and she joined because one of her sorority sisters and now, like, she scored up to 10 goals by the end game,
Oh
and,
my
like,
gosh,
she will
that's
not get sent
awesome.
out. It's great, yeah, I think that just really can show you, like, how the team is operating, like, within all facets, like, being
For
able to get
sure.
there, like, get the skills with the stick, and then, like, the confidence as well is very difficult,
Yeah.
and I think that was just a really good assimilation, and I'm so proud of our teammates, like, honestly, I think we're really positive, and we do hold each other accountable, and so,
Mhm.
like, we keep really fit, I would say.
Oh, well, you would have to for sure. I know when I talked to Lauren, I was telling her, like I was telling you, I don't know anything about lacrosse. Like, obviously, me doing this podcast, I've really tried to branch out and learn about different sports like soccer, volleyball, and track and field. I've visited practices and gone to games and talked to you athletes and just learning about all these different sports that often get overlooked. Like you said, trying to do outreach and having your leadership committee that help head that stuff up, just letting people know that you're there and that they can become involved. And like you mentioning your teammate, that's crazy to think that she had never been any part of it at all. Cause like I know nothing about it. I can't imagine going out there and here within a year playing like that and scoring goals. Like that's crazy. I mean, good for her. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So hopefully she'll be a good testimony, I guess, to reach out to others and go, hey, you can come do this too.
Yeah. I think lacrosse is, like, really good in just all of, like, the facets. Cause like, for
Yeah.
guys, it's much more different game. Obviously, they're playing helmets, and then shooting space
Yes.
is a whole different thing, but
Yeah,
I think it's just a really good mix of, like, having explosive energy and, like, consistent running skills, and
for
then, like,
sure.
hand-eye coordination is so important,
For sure.
but I also think it's just the fact of, like, where we're located because it's
Mhm.
more like the Northeastern thing, like
Yeah,
Maryland, New
that's
York,
so
yeah.
true.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I think it's really, really easy to learn and just start. I think you
Uh-huh.
do get a little plateau, but I think
Mhm.
with us definitely switching to SEC, like, that has potential for things to move forward, like,
Oh,
especially
okay.
in the coming
Yes.
years.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting you pointing out about the region, obviously, different sports being popular in different places. And I just talked to a rower, and she was talking about how they have gone to the Northeast a lot for rowing competitions, and rowing up there is huge. And of course, there's football fans up there and basketball fans, but she said you'll walk up and down the street and there'll be stores for rowing. And you're like, holy cow, it makes you feel appreciated. So I'm sure
Yeah.
that you guys would feel similarly when you get to a different area where lacrosse is more well known. You're
Yeah.
probably like, oh, hey, I feel at home. I feel appreciated. So I can't imagine, obviously, Oklahoma, we love our football, our basketball, and things like that. So again, you guys and these sports get so overlooked, and they're so much fun to watch. Like I enjoy learning. And like I said, I had my first game that I visited last month, and it was early on Saturday morning. It was cold and windy too.
Cool.
Was so cold. I just love being able to learn about what you guys are doing and all of the ways that you are involved and in promoting your sport and all of that because as you know, and this kind of goes into my next question, like sports teaches you a lot of life lessons and I'm sure that you can attest to that. But talk a little bit about some of those lessons that you learned and just how even in for example your teammate who may not have any prior experience even playing lacrosse, but she's learning lessons, learning how to be a good teammate, and I'm sure that she could attest as well. Going forward in life, you're going to be glad that you learned a lot of these lessons. So, what are some of those lessons and things that you've learned from sports that will carry on in your next chapter of life?
So I think sports has probably taught me, like, 3 things throughout in comparison to my high school career. I
Hmm.
think it's grit because my high school team, we actually didn't have a coach for 1 year. In the
Oh,
girls, we
wow.
had to step up and do that. And we had
Wow.
a really terrible losing streak, but it's just what so happened with my school district and, like, being the captain, having to go out there and, like, wanna have this effort and keep pushing everyone, I had to
Yes.
have that positive mindset going forward. So I just think,
Yes.
like, grit of being able to back out from the situation and just look at
Hmm.
the big picture.
So true.
And yeah, so just not getting mad at smaller things. I think lacrosse definitely teaches you that. Like, I'll try and shoot a goal and I'll hit the corner and maybe it'll come right back at me. It's like it's a big game. I think it's definitely given me more of a mindset to want to help the people around me because within my, like, degree, I'm not really going to have that kind of teaching aspect. And I
Right.
know like a lot of the other people, such as like Lauren. She's a education major, which I think
Uh-huh.
is so sweet. But I think I've actually adopted a lot of the morals they have of wanting to help
Yeah.
everyone and congratulate them. And I think that's really just thrown on me just from them doing it through practice, which I think
Yeah.
is really nice. So I think it's just positivity through all times because maybe someone made a bad shot and you saying something will make it much worse on that bad
Yes.
day. And
So true. So
yeah.
true.
I think it's also taught me just have confidence with what I'm doing. I think a lot of people nowadays have issues with like speaking in larger crowds or like
Oh
doing
my
something
gosh,
and being
yes.
afraid of the
Yes.
what will happen. But I
Uh-huh.
think just having confidence because it's so cliche and it's so elementary. But if you don't know if you try until you try.
That's so true. That's so
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Okay. My next question I wanted to talk to you about was football because you mentioned being a big football fan.
Yeah, yeah. I have a controversial take.
That's
I
okay.
am from Florida, so we used to
Okay.
live in Pensacola for a while, so
Okay.
Floribama.
Okay.
Um, my mom actually had went to LSU for a little when Saban was a coach there,
Oh,
and then
wow.
Saban
Okay.
transferred to Alabama. We lived
Yes.
in Pensacola, so I'm actually a longtime Alabama fan.
Okay. Well, that's okay. I can respect that. I
Roll Tide.
I will say I do respect Nick Saban a whole lot because
Yeah,
he's the Patty Gasso of football, especially this day and age.
yeah.
So yeah, you have to respect the man whether you want to like them or not, but that's okay. I would much rather you be an Alabama fan than like Texas.
Yeah, yeah, horns down, horns
So
down.
we can agree on that for sure.
Yeah. That's gross. But
It
yeah,
is
I
gross.
just grew up I love football. I mean, everyone loves football,
Yep.
and I just think it's such a fun experience to be able to come to college now. Like, yes, my
Yes.
parents root for the colleges they went for, but I never really understood the pride. But
Uh-huh.
yeah,
You do
crimson
now.
and cream, crimson and cream.
You do now. Well, and you mentioned on your bio about College Gameday coming for the Michigan game this past year. And that is something that you will have those memories from that Michigan game and you will reflect on them for the rest of your life and you will never forget it. So let's talk a little bit about that because the early morning, it's a long day.
So, me and my roommate and my suite mate decided to go camp out. So we got there
Nice.
at about 5 a.m. and we were just taking turns, like half asleep,
Yep.
half
Yep.
awake, like trying to huddle together because it was really cold that morning. Um, and then yeah, we waited for game day. We had our signs. Michigan sucks. It was great. It was great, being able to see the fans from Michigan
Yes.
just across the side booing us, and
Yes.
I just
Yes.
knew they were gonna lose, and it was a great game.
It was.
Sadly, I did not get tickets, but I watched
Oh,
from my really small
okay.
TV, and I could hear all the cheers, so I felt like a part of it.
I bet you could hear it from there for sure because you're
Yeah.
super close. Yeah, you talking about camping out cracks me up. Back when I was in college, we had to camp outside the ticket office to get OU Texas tickets. It was like a big thing. And so back then, the ticket office was actually at the Lloyd Noble Center. So yeah, I did my fair share of camping out, take turns, going in shifts. Like we were there overnight. And so, yeah, those are things that you'll never forget those experiences. So I love that for you. I love that because, yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
huge football fan, obviously. And like I said, you got to respect Saban, you got to respect Alabama. Just if you love the game, you have to. So, yeah, you getting to experience, like you said, your pride in your team. So your mom went to LSU and one of them went to LSU and one went to Bama?
Yeah.
Oh my
So, well, my
gosh.
dad was just around Bama. My
Oh,
dad is a
okay.
blue collar worker, tried and
Okay. Yeah.
true. But yeah, but this year I think it was especially crazy because it was my first time. It's my first year here, the OU Alabama, and then OU Alabama again. It was
Oh my
I
gosh.
was really torn. I was like, I
I
don't
bet
know to feel
so.
happy or sad.
Right?
I don't know what to do.
That's so funny. Oh man. Yeah, that's an experience for you for sure. So have you been to Bryant Denny Stadium?
Yeah, so I have,
Okay.
but I've never been to a game there because we
Okay.
live in South Carolina. It just
Yeah.
never works
It's
out, but
right.
I've seen it in all of its glory,
But the
and I
stadium's
think
amazing. Yeah.
it's beautiful, yeah.
It's
I
on
mean,
my list.
Alabama
Yeah.
is beautiful.
It's on my list of places to go to. I love just getting to see different stadiums and college communities, and especially now that we're in the SEC because they're much better. I felt like we were in the Big 12 forever. I'm like, I've already been all these places. I want to go somewhere else. So, okay, have you been to Baton Rouge? Have you been to LSU?
So I've never been to Baton Rouge. I have been to UGA, and then I
Okay.
live right actually near where Clemson is.
Okay.
So
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah, I've been to the Clemson a lot. Other than that, I don't think I've really Big Ten been to any other larger colleges.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the Michigan game, I'm planning to go up to Michigan in the fall when OU plays up there. Are you planning to make any road trips during our football season coming up?
I think actually Michigan is gonna also be my
Awesome.
number one because I've never been to Michigan, and
Yes.
my boyfriend is actually gonna be attending next year, and he managed to get the ticket pass, and I didn't.
My gosh.
So I'm gonna get a ticket, and we're gonna
Okay.
we're gonna take a long drive. But we'll
Awesome.
see if
Oh,
that
that's
really comes to fruition, but it'll be so much fun. Have you been to Michigan
I have
previously?
not. I have not. So I'm very excited to go. And that would be a long drive. I will not be driving.
No. You need to dress very accordingly to the northern.
Yes, yes. I am very intrigued what it will be like. I mean, it is early September, so hopefully it won't be too cold, but I mean, I'm down for it being cold. I would love that. I am not a fan of Oklahoma heat.
Yeah,
Between that and the tornadoes, I'm like, why do I still live here?
that's yeah.
And I will tell you, if you get a chance, I believe it's next fall, so like 2027, we go to College Station to Texas A&M, and you need to go experience that.
Did go for the UT game, so I'll definitely have to go to the College Station.
Okay, yes, you must go check out College Station. So they've actually added on to that stadium since I was there, and my husband's never gone, and so I'm eager to get back down there. But it's an experience. It's almost cult like down
Yeah,
there.
people have told me that it's, like, separated and it's just its own world.
Yeah, it really is, and they're crazy, but it's a lot of fun. It'd be a good one. But yeah, so OU Texas, did you go last year to Dallas? Okay.
Yeah, I did. I was so excited going into it. I was
Hmm.
so pumped. I was walking into the stadium and I was hearing whispers. There was like Matthew McConaughey somewhere. I was like, okay, this
Oh
is
yeah,
great.
yeah.
But, we know how that went.
Well, we are long overdue for a win in Dallas. I will tell you that winning down there makes it worth the trip. But when you don't win, it's the worst day ever. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's a sad drive home.
it's a bad drive home. What was your favorite home game last year?
Went to a few home games. I
Okay.
think my favorite was I mean, Kent State was really early on. That was
Uh-huh.
just fun. That was, I think,
Uh-huh.
one of my first few games I went to with my roommates. But the
Uh-huh.
old controversial, we lost the Old Miss game, but the
Mhm.
game itself was great. Like I was on
Yeah,
my toes the
it
whole
was a good
entire
game.
game.
It was close.
It was overcast. It was a little
Yes.
break, and it was a good
Yes.
game. I was a little sad, but we did great for a little stunt from then on
For
there. So
sure.
I think
Yeah.
those are probably my 2 favorite memories, and
Okay.
I think we're gonna do even better this season.
I really hope so. I am ready. I'm always counting down to football season. It's my favorite. And yeah, I'm definitely ready. So okay, are you a softball fan?
So, I'm kind of a softball fan. I've been watching a lot of OU softball in
Uh-huh.
Sarkeys at the gym recently.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I just saw the A&M win.
Yeah.
I saw the loss at, in Stillwater when I was a little
Uh-huh.
sad, but that was right after they just beat Texas. I've never really been into softball, but recently with our winning streak, it kind of makes me really
For
intrigued.
sure. For sure. Well, I've seen softball come a long way over my years, but I mean, I'd say the last 15 years or so I've been watching. But yeah, now's a great time to get on board for sure. It's fun to watch. And I've learned that if people start watching, they're like, this is fun. I want to watch more. So I totally get that. So what's your other favorite sport other than football to watch?
To watch, probably. I mean, I still do love martial arts, so I'd probably
Oh
just say
yeah.
MMA, either MMA or boxing, it
Okay.
depends.
I love
Yeah,
that.
gets a little messy, but it's good. I
That's a
mean, I
different answer. So I like that because that's not something that everybody says.
yeah, I mean, it keeps you on your toes,
For
really.
sure. Yeah, and I'm not super familiar with it at all.
Yeah, another controversial one, I played tennis. Like, I don't love to watch tennis, but I think it's so entertaining to
I
just
love it.
watch it and just
Yeah.
see it progress. And everyone makes fun of me because sometimes when I study, I'll put a tennis game on in the
Oh, yeah.
back.
Oh, I love tennis. I'll watch it. And
The men's team are having a great run right now.
they are. So
And
I had
gymnastics.
My gosh, I love gymnastics too. Yes.
Me too.
So,
It is
are you a
gorgeous.
basketball fan at all?
Yeah, so I'm a Kentucky basketball fan.
Okay.
Wildcats.
All right. Are you watching the Thunder?
Yeah, I really wanna go to a Thunder game. I mean, and
Yes,
they
you
just
need
got
to.
Jared McCain. I did see that he
Yes.
got traded to OKC, so
Yes, and he's been showing out. So yeah, he's fun to watch. We love watching the Thunder for sure. We'd like to try to make it to a playoff game. So it's kind of on the radar, but we haven't made it happen yet, but we'll see. Okay, well, I don't want to keep you much longer because I could sit here and talk about sports all day. But is there anything else you want to talk about or share, like in closing or anything at all before I let you go?
I think there's something really ironic in the fact we spoke about how lacrosse is more popular in the Northeast. Because I don't know if you know this, but lacrosse originally was a Native American way to distribute land. They would actually
Oh,
play in like the older lacrosse sticks. They have like museums of them and they're
okay.
made of like wooden sticks and they'll tie like string together and they would play lacrosse to settle for their
Oh,
land. It's so I think it's really ironic that now it's
it
finally coming
is.
into swords and we have like 23 tribes within Oklahoma.
Right. I did not know that.
Yeah, it's
So
pretty
yeah,
fun. That's a
that's
good
very
history
interesting.
fact.
That
Yeah.
is a good history fact. That is a good one because I did not know that, but that's very interesting.
Yeah, but I just had a great time. Thank you so much for having me.
Well,
I
of
loved all
course.
of our conversation.
Well, I really enjoyed talking to you. I appreciate it again so much.